whatever the external causes may be or seem to be, socioeconomic or other factors that incite to violence, ultimately, I believe, and this is both whether you're talking in this Buddhist tradition or a Christian tradition, is the sense of separation, is this illusion of separateness. And working from that separate self, which is the false self, which is an illusion. Buddhism makes that very clear, but Christianity too, if we're listening, is what we might call ego, that ego self, that separate self, that selfish self, that anxious self, that scheming self that wants to take everything to defend and protect itself. That illusory sense of who we are is the root cause of, and it can be used, you can take charge of religion and use it for its own ends, as we see everywhere in the world today and all the traditions. So it's all that more insidious because it can appear even in religious guise. So yes, how can we go beyond that, overcome that sense of separateness? I'd like to emphasize it particularly from the Christian point of view here, basing myself also on the encyclical of Pope Francis. You seldom hear preached, but the fundamental reality of Christianity is that we are all one. To use the images of Jesus, we're branches on the vine, and the vine is Christ himself and ultimately all of creation, as I'll try and say in a moment. Or we're, to use St. Paul's image, we're one body. If one member of the body feels pain or joy, another member of the body feels it as well, because we're all connected. We are all one body, one reality. And that's what we seem to have lost sight of. So maybe if we developed a more tender sense of how we are related, for example, use Mother Earth, which seems to cross cultures, the sense the Earth is our mother. You don't want to do violence to your mother. Even the most egotistical people usually don't want to do violence to their mother. So do we awaken the sense of that, the Earth is our mother? And that's not just, Wiccan. That's, Pope Francis uses that image in here as well, and many traditions wisely and correctly do. Or use the hymn of St. Francis that was the basis of the Pope's encyclical, where St. Francis had the sense of communion with all of nature. It's very well known. That's one reason he's so popular. That we had, Brother Sun and Sister Moon and Brother Wind and Sister Water, to realize that Native American traditions are strong on this too, to realize that we're all brothers and sisters, one with another, all the races and religions and cultures and ethnicities of the earth, obviously, but also the elements, the natural world. We're all brothers and sisters, Brother Wolf or Sister Deer, whatever it might be. If we can rekindle that St. Francis sense, that natural sense of the kinship we have, not just the obvious dependence we have for our sustenance, but the actual kinship we have in existence, forming one planet, one reality, one universe, with human and non-human, or connected to the human, then we'll be much less tempted to mistreat it, because we realize we're one with it, and it's us, ourselves. And that's the second part I'd like to emphasize. It really is us. It's not just mother, sister, or brother. It's our body. Why would we slash our own body? Why would we cut off our own members? And this is especially from the perspective of the cosmic Christ. Now, this is something that's never preached about in the Christian tradition, but it is basic to St. Paul's theology, that Christ is now cosmic. The whole universe is his body, as he says in several of his letters. The church, his body, the body which fills the universe in all its parts, so that God is all in all. So there's only God, there's only Christ's body, there's only one body of God, and we're all it, and the universe is it, and we all form one body. So why would we do violence to any of it? Catholics especially reverence the body of Christ in the Eucharist and make a big deal out of that, and rightly so. But the point is that's connected to the whole universe. The whole universe is the body. We should have the same reverence for a mountain or a stream or a species of animals as we do for the Eucharist and the tabernacle, if we're Catholic, if we really go into the mystical dimension of Christianity. So as one wonderful author, the theologian, Elizabeth Johnson wrote in her recent book, Ask the Beasts, Darwin and the God of Love, we have to get beyond this Christian sense of dominance, which has been emphasized in the past, dominance over creation, have dominion over the beasts of the field, and as if we were the exploiters of creation, and return to the sense of wonder, of connection, of oneness, of being at the service of, because we're the service of our own bodies, and to respect that as the very body of Christ. So all of that is a way, theological way, spiritual way of overcoming the illusion of being separate little selves who have to dominate and exploit things outside ourselves to defend our egos, get beyond that idiocy, and realize the truth of our basic connection to everything, whether it's through the Buddhist tradition or the Christian tradition, or all these are spiritual tools that can be used to rekindle our sense of our connection. And we're nothing dependent, co-arising, if you're speaking in the Buddhist tradition. Everything is connected to everything else. And, of course, modern science does nothing but affirm and confirm and re-highlight the interconnectedness of everything. A microscopic particle at one end of the universe is in communion with a microscopic particle at the other end of the universe. So everything conspires to make us realize we're not separate. What kind of nonsense is that?